I think William Ruto is actually unfit for the position of President of the Republic of Kenya. I have come sadly to that conclusion. And I have no bitterness. For me, I just feel my own assessment. When I watch William Ruto sometimes talking to members of cabinet and see him say, I do not want to see corruption in my government. Then I start wondering, who is this talking? And I'm sure we will have occasion to discuss a lot.
Is he corrupt?
Okay. Very. Yes, irredeemably.
Okay.
With the experience that I've gained working with William Ruto this last in the executive, which was my desire when after serving as speaker for 10 years, a member of parliament, 2 terms, judiciary, I felt I wanted to be somewhat to serve in the national executive. I think William Ruto is a person with two personalities. The William Ruto that presents himself to the public is a completely different character from the one that sits behind in the office and crafts stuff. I think that kind of person is quite a dangerous character. I think William Ruto is actually unfit for the position of President of the Republic of Kenya. I have come sadly to that conclusion. And I have no bitterness. For me, I just feel my own assessment. When I watch William Ruto sometimes talking to members of cabinet and see him say, I do not want to see corruption in my government. Then I start wondering, who is this talking? And I'm sure we will have occasion to discuss a lot.
Is he corrupt?
Okay. Very. Yes, irredeemably.
Okay.
Corrupt.
One example you can walk us through. I know you've told us that there's many. Just a.
I don't want to give you the obvious ones about the Adanis, because I have some background about it. He's the one who's clearly behind it. And I know this because when his advisor, Adan Mohammed, invited me to attend the COP28 in Dubai in 2023, he gave me a lot of information which ended up with the Adani deal about the airport specifically. Even during that same time, some Russian oligarchs who had offered to invest $1 billion here in Kenya. And again, it came from Adan Mohammed. In fact, I have even staff telling me that an NGO, I go and check, and there's no, I said the NGO council says we don't have any such company.
Such thing registered.
Then, on the day we were coming from India, after that COP28, we flew to India for state visit, blah, blah. I am landing on my way back because Guru, this guy of Defki, I see Ruto around him. It's one of the Guptas. I've chatted another one for him. As we are going direct, got an executive jet. I've gotten him. So I land in Dubai. Ruto is calling me. Those people, those Russians want you. They are there. They are in Dubai. They are waiting. You signed in. I said, I'm just at the airport and I'm on transit. I am not leaving the airport. Right. He said, no, but they are there. Your people, your staff have already worked on the document. I said, no, I will need to go and review it in office.
This document?
No, it came from the Minister of Environment, which they pushed through. I tell them this thing, the $1 billion can only be by way of a grant, but it cannot come directly to the ministry because under the PFM Act, Section 47, it can only go through the National Treasury. They are trying to avoid that money going to the National Treasury, and is money coming from abroad.
Right.
I mean,
you're being asked to sign in an airport.
I'm being told to sign at Dubai airport, and there's William Ruto calling me directly. I'm telling you. But anyway, maybe I could. Let me say this.
No, finish.
Yeah, let me say this. I think it's a very unfortunate situation for the country that we have William Ruto sitting in the office as president of Kenya. And you know, we have too many examples to give. And in fact, somebody talked about a book. The book is already in the works. I started immediately. I left. Actually, just before I left Parliament as Speaker, that's when I began working on it. Then, now that we went into campaigns, I stopped a bit, and then I said, "Oh, why don't I just wait and finish my experience in the cabinet
before you do an expose?"
No,
with a book
to give this so that the book also includes my experience in the cabinet.
It would be very
with you slowly, and then he begins to appear like first of all, I think I want to say William Ruto is a true example of Daniel Moi. And William Ruto is no wonder, actually, he campaigned against the current constitution, because I think he really he relishes a situation where we could go to that imperial presidency.
Right. He said he has a disdain for institutions.
He has disdain for institutions, and that's why he wants to push everything, even in cabinet. Once, if you want to know something where he has an interest, a CS will make a presentation, and then William Ruto will take over. Say, this one is good. He begins now to explain, making sure that there is no dissent, and he starts telling you, the moment I arrive before you at ward, then he begins that slowly he's instilling fear. Today, and I know that's the situation. He makes it impossible for you to have a meaningful discussion. In fact, people enjoy going for cabinet committee meetings, the ones chaired by the deputy president, both Rigathi and Kindiki, because there you are able to speak your mind about any issue that is presented. But before William Ruto, you just have to know he has expressed his position, and he's looking at you. He's making suggestions. The look he gives you tells you the advisory opinions of the Attorney General are never the subject of discussion at cabinet, because usually it is line ministries who will seek advice. Even when they are preparing cabinet papers, the final person signatory is always the Attorney General. So they will come and complain that this paper is not ready. It's the Attorney General, and I say, yeah, we are reviewing it because we don't want to approve things which could turn out legally costly to the country.
I mean, in the sense that he could call you at an airport, tell you, these guys are here, you need to sign XYZ. That's...
Fortunately, he could call that, did I sign?
He could call, but he couldn't.
Arol, Kimwarel, and Itare Dams. Because it's only Itare Dam where those Italian contractors are done 26%. Arol, they contract those Italians, and they were paying billions. They only put in a container. In Kimwarel, nothing has ever happened, because even the report that came, it has a faults underneath. You can't do it. We can't do the dam there. So remember, he has been doing those things, meetings with the Italian Prime Minister, the President. On 3 occasions, I was invited to accompany the team, but I had read the files, and I just felt, no, it's not possible. And then Head of Public Service writes to me a letter that the delegation which is going to go there is going to be led by Adil Kawanja, which is one of those very close friends of the President, the chairman of Safaricom Limited, and then the then DPP, Nurdin Haji, and the former Solicitor General. I assigned some other state councils. I said, what is this? But the country is losing, or has lost actually, over 38 billion shillings. And they still, later they wanted me to sign. I said, I can't. I cannot append my signature, not on this.
Can you substantiate?
Contrary to what William Ruto may have thought, I am not the kind of person I keep records,
Right.
and I have all of them. In fact, on soft.
Okay.
I had to ask, what was the opinion of the Attorney General?
But
When the CAB memo was brought to us, one morning we were in Kakamega State Lodge for a cabinet meeting by Nakumicha. She brought me like this. I told her, what is this? I cannot sign a CAB memo just like this. This is not the way to go about it. She told me, CS National Treasurer has already signed. I said, it doesn't matter. She ran to the president, who was then with his deputy Rigiji at Kakamega State Lodge. Then they called me, and I go and said, I tell them, we cannot do cabinet memos this way. The cabinet, even the cabinet secretary, even the AG, it's not just the AG, it is the office. There are people, and I told you, various departments who have to check through. And there's a lot of consultation. Occasionally you will sit about 3, 4, 5 people, and I want to know, why did you arrive at this? Why did you yourself, why is it you prefer this? So that we come up with sound legal advice. Now, I'm told, sign. So when she went and reported the president and his deputy, I told them, no, you know what? I can't sign. The president played with me, he told me, JB, we promised people universal health coverage, what. I said, yeah, I am sympathetic to that, because for me, it's good for the citizens of this country. But I told him, but this procedure is not right. And besides, I've seen something that purports to be draft bills. If I'm going to agree to sign the CAB memo, these draft bills must be forwarded to me as Attorney General to review them with clear drafting instructions as what it is each bill hopes to achieve. That's 2 weeks ago. When this is the process of interviewing chairperson for the IEBC, there's a lady who actually admitted. She's called, she said her name, Wajiko Manegene, one of the candidates. She admitted, you can check, that she says among the consultants she has done with government, is that she is part of the team that drafted the health laws. And she was asked, then you drafted? She said, yes. And after that, where did you take them? We took them to Parliament. Took this, for me, I think it came as a surprise, because I was going to I was still going to reveal to the world that I never took part. But she actually did it for me. That I kept telling people, those bills did not come through the AG's office. Because remember, even the Council of Governors had a lot of issues with them. And that also some of the things I was pointing out to the president and his deputy then at Kakamega. So now that one, I don't even have to, because
some of it, like the Kakamega one, for example. Can you share that?
You see, that one, it is those bills. Okay. They never came through the office of the Attorney General. And we have a fully fledged legislative drafting department of highly competent Kenyans. Some of them 20, 30 years experience in legislative drafting. Very, very highly regarded even within the Commonwealth. But people want to bypass that because of, of course, partisan vested interests. No wonder. Later we come to hear about 104 billion project. They don't want to speak. In fact, some of them don't want to pick my calls, even on WhatsApp. They are too scared. Many of the cabinet secretaries who are there, they don't want to pick my calls even on WhatsApp. They are too scared that they may be found to have spoken to me. And I know some others who are telling me, please, just get somebody to call.
On your behalf.
On your behalf, then we can talk on the other. So what does that tell you? William Ruto has instilled such fear in the entire cabinet that people don't want to speak. And no, it is live and let live. You asked me the question. Somebody asked me whether I want to run for position of Embu governor. First of all, the other one of member of parliament from Mbeere North. Certainly, I think that's a person who has not really followed me, because having been speaker, I think in fairness, it would be wrong for me to go back as a member of parliament to the same house that I presided over for 10 years. So please, just leave me out of it. I have said since 2017 that I am not interested in the position of governor of M County. And I hope now this should put the matter to rest. Some of the bloggers from the president have been trying to push that narrative that I'm trying to create room to run for office of governor of Embu.
Right.
No, not at all. Quite earlier, immediately after university in 2002, he ran for councillor, and since then I've known him. But he used to be quite violent earlier on when he was supporting somebody else. In fact, at one time he even attempted to strike me, except that I think he was a bit scared. But later, again, Ruto actually was given to me by William Ruto, because William Ruto did not want them to contest to have a fight with Jagagua, the then sitting member of parliament, who was already UDA favorite candidate by Ruto. And since Ruto is also Ruto's friend since the days of UDM, URP, so Ruto is the one. On a day I was going for a meeting in Odaya during the times I was going around. Remember, I also had expressed interest to vie for president. He called me when I was on my way to the meeting in Odaya and told me, please, JB, if we can avoid, since we have already agreed that we'll still team, we'll be together, why don't you just give them, you give this guy your party ticket so that we avoid a fallout after the UDA nominations. I told him, it's okay, just send him to me. I know him, he's my friend. So that's how, and then I also offered to assist Ruto, just like I sponsored him to run for Senator of Embu in 2017.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with Ruto becoming CS. It's okay. And like I said, I think, for me, these positions should not be personalized. And for me, my interest is to serve the people in whichever capacity.
Just as we finish.
Lastly.
Okay.
And first of all, somebody who is committed to institutional reform and also genuinely allowing institutions to function independently. Like at one time, I had to tell President Ruto, please, Mr. President, when you go and stand out there in the public and start abusing judges, you're making a mistake.
All right.
You don't deal with judges that way. And I'm ready to work with anybody who is willing to allow. Yeah?
Rigiji?
Well, he's a Kenyan. I have no problem with Rigiji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deficit that we have in this country, and remembering also, it's not we Kenyans are feeling it, but you see, it's also being felt by our neighbors.
It is.
Within the region, that Kenya has sunk so low. And many of them are telling us, how did you people get here?
We are